There we go. Hello, everyone. All right, and there we have picture. Okay, so where am I? I was looking into some stuff earlier, so I want to go to the Lake of Rot. Gosh. Oh, right. No horse privileges here. If only I had an ant calling ring. Some sort of ant summoning whistle. That way you could move around underground. And the ants can scale walls too, so I actually feel like that would be an interesting mod, just like in general. Like if you could, like a mount that can just kind of scale the walls. I'm sure I'm not the first person to have that idea, though. I kind of just looked at another character in the game and went like, what if that was us? So, not exactly like some innovative, groundbreaking idea. Only I could have come up with it. If anyone else thinks of it, they copied me. That is how people be, though, for real. With, like, ideas, not necessarily, you know. Whoopsie. Okay, yeah, just gonna try to ignore as many of these guys as possible. If you're wondering how I pressed Y while running, it's because I have my index finger curled under my thumb and I'm pressing the Y button with my thumb. Oh gosh. It's not comfortable, but it's, for some, I have like, I've been using a controller for like 35 years. I've been using a controller like 35 years, which is longer than I've been alive, so you can tell that I'm experienced. Okay, I gotta get past these guys first. Whoopsie. Alright, actually, I think I'll just kill them. Why don't I do that? Secret option A. Whoop. Cool. And that's it. Unga bunga. And then chain reaction here. You see, what was I just talking about? God, something stupid. Probably ant. Something about ants. Been thinking about ants a lot lately. Elden Ring ants, specifically. More specifically, their potential connection to Scarlet Rot and or the alleged Scorpion. I say alleged Scorpion because, like, you know, we only ever see Scorpions just, like, mentioned in stories or, like, sort of in a mythical sense, like they're like this one legendary scorpion at least.
Even when I turned my back upon the two
so
fingers,
it's
Blythe remained my loyal
there is
ally.
an item called the Scorpion Stinger, which
Which
I think probably means there was a scorpion, but we also don't know that it was like literally a scorpion or just something scorpion-like.
And E.G. both.
Like, could a still be considered a scorpion?
Yet they both understand.
I don't remember. Are
what
scorpions
lieth beyond
arachnids
the dark
or
path,
insects?
That I must betray everything and rid the world of what came
Let's
before.
find out.
Should I add thee to the list? Another one. Kind of heart.
They're
As kind of
arachnids.
heart as they.
Okay.
This form
The only
has
reason that's
loosened
important
my
is because
tongue.
of the fact
I've
that
let slip
Estelle
too
has...
much.
I
Forget
mean, I don't
what
know if it's
thou's
super
heard.
duper important. Estelle has
Forget.
3 sets of arms, like an ant.
I've let forget what.
I do forget what you just said, but I've heard everything you've said before, so I'll remember later. What I want to look at is some stuff in... Right, I said that. I think I already said that. The Lake of Rot. I feel like there's a couple items, like, you know, there's the Ant Spur rapier. It's possible that that was just sort of, like, modded by Malay Mirai or whatever. But it also makes you wonder, like, where did he even get an ant spur in the first place, because they're only underground. So, like even if, especially since, you know, what was it, Scarlet Rot was supposed to be like a myth, so I guess he must have gotten it sometime after he met Melania, right? Well, okay, I'll check the items. I should be able to get them if I don't. Oh god, oh god. Ooh, hoo, hoo. That was almost bad. This guy's really got me on my toes. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah, there we go. Let's turn on the lamp. Found the lamp, by the way, sorry. Lantern. I found the lantern. Hello, June. Uh-oh. A couple things going on right now. Luckily, we can pause. Hi, June. Okay, well, maybe we can do this. Oh, not that. No, I wasn't talking to you, June. Sorry, I know that was confusing. Here, okay, sorry, I'm streaming. We can hang out later.
Shadow, thou art the last. Tell the 2 fingers
Alright.
that Rani the witch cometh to rend thy flesh with a fateful wound, ne'er to heal.
Fateful wound, never to heal. So, one of the reasons I feel like that's particularly important is because it sort of equates the term fate with like fateful, at least with fatal, like a fatal blow. Damn. I'm dead from damage over time. And, you know, if that was like said by someone in some other quest line, maybe that would be arguably something that we don't necessarily have to think is important. But the fact is, the Finger Slayer Blade... There we go. The Finger Slayer Blade, the item that is, like, kind of one of the most critical items, I would say, like, the most critical item of Rani's, the most important item in Rani's quest, maybe in the game. You could argue that the Black Knives are, or the Curse Mark is, but, like, I mean... whatever. I feel like, you know, it's up there. So, the Finger Slayer Blade specifically says it can't be used by someone that does not have a fate. And I think that that means, you know, especially with what I just said in mind, it's someone that can't die. And that is because using the Finger Slayer Blade, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you've probably heard me say this 2 or 3 times. Or more. I think that's because using the Finger Slayer Blade kills you. I think that Rani is dead, or her puppet body is, like, lifeless when we, when we find her in front of her two fingers.
Beautifully fought.
And
my thanks. 'Twas more of a challenge than I envisioned.
Okay, so she's saying goodbye
now
here.
I can finally stand before them. This is farewell,
Like
my
she's
dear.
dying.
Tell Blythe and Iji I love them.
So you might be saying, if she died, then how come she's moving around and clearly alive after we put the ring on her finger in front of her two fingers? And I think that that is because the only explanation that I have been able to come up with is that the ring is her primal glintstone. And that by putting it on her finger, we are proving, because she doesn't tell us about the ring or anything. You know, she doesn't say, go do this to save me. We go and put that ring on her finger. We don't even know that it's going to save her. We don't know that it's, like, we don't technically really know why it saved her. We are just going to put that ring on her finger of our own accord because we actually want to be with her and help her. And so by doing that, she knows that, like, we're a genuine companion, because I think it's not just like something that she necessarily does for a romantic reason. It seems like she's about to spend 10,000 years like roaming the stars for some reason, because that's kind of what the dark path of the Empyrean maybe like entails. But it's implied during her ending that we are going with her. So we're gonna spend 10,000 years with just the two of us. I mean, I would hope at the very least that the person I'm spending time with actually wants to, genuinely wants to be with me. It kind of just sounds, necessary when you think about it like that. It wasn't necessarily so much of a test as it was like just something you really, if he didn't put the ring on your finger, she would have just gone alone. If she just killed her two fingers and died, I think that's she would have gone alone. I think that still kind of depends on whether or not, someone eventually kills America or ends the Golden Order or whatever. Well, I don't know, because she still has to, like... I wonder how that would have worked, actually, if we hadn't gone with her. That was stupid of me to go in there. Or if we hadn't put the ring on her finger, how was that supposed to work? Is maybe killing her two fingers was just enough to do... I don't know. There's probably more to it than I know, if I even have the full picture. Which I doubt. I do. Okay, so yeah, also, let's do some... There we go. Let's actually properly equip ourselves against this. Is there anything else I can do? Whoops. Not gonna help. Just kind of trying to plan out my next move. I think I activated that one, right? Yeah, because that sent that up. So, also this is reminding me, because that area is what really interests me. Kind of specifically because there's an Onyx Lord up there, or Alabaster Lord up there. There's another item in this room. So, like, yeah, it's one thing to, like, connect. Like, I said something like this a second ago. It's one thing to connect two random items in the game based on, like, sort of vague content or vague, like, text stuff. And it's another thing when, like, the two items or the two things that we're talking about are literally, like, right next to each other in the same room. The Mushroom Crown is here, and it talks about these great lords who once served the Rot. And it's like, I can't help but think that was just almost definitely, like, at the very least, the Alabaster Lords. I don't know if the Onyx Lords are, like, necessarily also involved, but I think that I'll come back for that one, because I know that it lifts me up and it's the whole thing. Whoops. Jeez, sorry. Got a little distracted by running through this scarlet rot swamp. God. Really wish I hadn't lost my train of thought. Oh, right. Onyx Lords, or Alabaster Lords, I guess, and the Crown Mushroom Crown. I mean, I think that that's not necessarily... It's not proof, of course. I think that is a very strong implication that the Alabaster Lords served rot and wore mushrooms like that in service of rot. And you know what? I really feel like that makes a lot of sense too, because something that I have said about how I think Scarlet Rot works and gets around, like, you know, the Golden Order and stuff like that, is that it doesn't kill you. It just breaks you down into your base components. And then those components mix in with all the stuff that's already in the Scarlet Rot. Because Scarlet Rot is like melted stuff already. It's just like stuff that's already been melted into Scarlet Rot, from what I understand. It's like organic soup. Those bits recombine with other stuff that's been, like, broken down, and it makes new stuff, like, oh, Jesus. It makes new stuff like pests. I think that pests, the pests are just one of the things that can be produced by rot, because, I mean, we already know that, you know, Millicent is an example, and probably her 3 other sisters were all, they're very likely born from the swamp, just sort of like spontaneously, and I think that that is because there are bits of Melania in the swamp. Or maybe it's just that any person that's born from the swamp would be hers, because the swamp is, in a way, Melania. The rot is, in a way, Melania. Which I could see. Where, So, I think that these Alabaster Lords, because, something I've mentioned before, or something actually that... Something Greece says, Dragon Scale Greece. Dragon Wound Greece. When the dragons were born from their ancient kin, they lost their stone scales, which can now be used to cause them mortal harm. So, like, how does something made of flesh and bone, how does something like that come from something made of stone? I didn't mean to make it rhyme. How does something flesh and bone come from something made of stone? That's stupid. So I think that... God, he's so cool, honestly. The Alabaster Lords were, like, broken down. Their bits got rearranged. And it made people that bleed silver. His eyes, like... Might just be... That's probably just, like, the reflection in here. So I think that it's possible that the moon folk, night folk, whatever... Maybe they're the same thing, maybe not. I think it's possible that the moon folk that used to allegedly bleed silver were maybe descendants of some of these Alabaster Lords that got broken down in the Scarlet Rot. Because Scarlet Rot is rebirth put into practice, I think, is something that Poison Mist, like, says explicitly. So it's not just something that breaks down stuff. And that's also why I'm a little bit, like, nervous that it's got something to do with the Crucible of Life, because it does seem like this kind of force, this red colored force that is about, like, creating things and breaking things down, and it's like a mixture of all kinds of living things. So it kind of sounds like the crucible of life, how it's described anyway. But the crucible of life, it's said to look like Siluria's tree spear, which looks like a bunch of horns, which kind of looks like the antlers of an ancestral spirit. Which is also like it also has something to do with rebirth, but like still. I mean, they're probably, I don't think the ancestral spirits are linked to rot. I think that they are linked to like similar concepts of like decay and rebirth. But I think that the important aspect with Scarlet Rot is that I don't think that there's death taking place. I think it's literally just rebirth without death. So things that are alive just get reborn over and over again. That's exactly like Silver Tears. That's interesting. The weird thing is that those guys are immune, but I guess do they spit rot or death? It could be interesting if, like, you know, you could argue that they're immune because they're dead. One of the reasons, by the way, yeah, they still breathe death. I'm gonna say that that's what's going on. They are of death, so there's nothing to be reborn. They can't. They're not broken down by the rot because they're not alive. Which is actually hilarious, because that means that Marika, that explains why the Scarlet Rot was such a problem for Marika. She, like, got rid of the only thing that could resist it. And fire is also one of the only things that can, like, deal with rot. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that, like, the Giant's Forge and Death are... I kind of already assumed that they're linked in some way, but, like... that's just kind of more to make you think, you know, maybe, like, I feel like... because if the two things that could have saved her from Scarlet Rot are, like, death and fire, she happened to get rid of both of those things. I don't know. So the Scorpion Stinger's over there. Let's go get... before we go and get that, let's get, wait, am I missing runes, or did I use them to... I think I used them to level up a minute ago. Just totally forgot. Okay, so we need to go over here. And I want to fight Malay Marai. Alright. Let's get out of the swampiness here. So yeah, he's got... let's see, all these slugs or something. I want to say that there is something above ground that is beneath... yeah, I think it's these guys. You guys also spit death, right? Like, all basilisks just spit death. For some reason, I thought that there were some that spit Scarlet Rot, but I think I'm just mistaken. I think they all spew Death Rot. But this is another thing that I think kind of enforces the idea that the Malay Marai family has something to do with, like, the underground. Like, they have been underground because there are... first of all, the ant spur rapier comes from something that... like, there aren't any ants above ground, not even here. And I think that the only other place... well, there are a couple places above ground that these guys can also be found. But they happened to also be throughout the Lake of Rot, which is directly related to this place. Or at least Rot is, so... something else I realized recently, which is kind of... could have something to do with the fact that they might be Nox or something. Like, the Malay Marai family, only the men are born sickly. which I'm not necessarily sure. Like we know that women are given like special roles, like, you know, like ceremonial, like priestess roles and stuff like that in like Nox society. So it kind of makes you think maybe like there actually is like there could be something going on there. Like it could be because of the fact that there is some sort of inherent genetic defect in like male Nox people or something like that. Sort of like what it seems like is possible with the Albinorics. Like all the Albinorics that are unstable seem male. The ones that are stable are female or androgynous, and compared to toads. Not androgynous in the cool way, androgynous in the toad way. So this is also a reason that I think that whoever lived in the Shaded Castle, if it was, I mean, I know that the Mirai family lived in the Shaded Castle, but like, I think that this sculptor that made the Radagon statue was from here. Like, even if he wasn't like Malay Mirai himself, maybe he was another Mirai, or maybe he was just some guy who worked here. But I think that's why there's all these like statues and like copies of identical statues too. That's fine. We got what we wanted. Because, you know, why there are way more statues here. Like in another place, there's this big statue graveyard, and I think it's Stormvale. And that's not because there are way too many statues there. They collected all the statues from other places. Like you can actually find where the statues were taken from and broken off or whatever and tossed. And you can see where they're tossed. Here, there's like so many statues that they are like filling up the rooms inside the castle. There's like a field, a literal field of them over here. I mean, they're just all over the place. Like, there's more statues than I feel like there are people that could live here. And that just seems like there's definitely like they are probably making the sculptures that there's no way they're just buying up sculptures en masse because they just love sculptures so much. And there's nothing that really links, you know, Scarlet Rot or whatever to like turning you to stone or anything, so I don't think that it has anything to do with, you know, some other situation that's going on here related to the Mirai family, like with Rot and stuff. Cool. Cool beans. Was that sound in the game? Was that sound in the game or real life? That like whooshing sound? Okay.
Sorry, nothing.
It's fine. I just couldn't tell if that was like a really interesting like sound, like surround sound kind of situation going on, or if there have been like weird train sounds recently. Maybe they're not trains. I don't know. Oh, could have like snowplows. Could have been a snowplow, for instance. But I also don't know if it was a sound effect from this like actual giant golem dying. But yeah, so graveyard, or, you know, statue graveyard, feels like something you would have if you are just making these statues. Yet I don't see many other reasons for why you'd have so many on hand. Especially when there is like a sculpture specifically mentioned as like a very notable person that you know, like this they were hired by royalty, so they're probably not just like some random sculptor. And the statues that can be found here are found all over the place. Like, not just, they're found in Liurnia and you know, the Altus Plateau. So I mean, it would make sense if he was a sculptor at the time of like Radagon and Marika's union, that he would be making statues for both places that normally would be unrelated. Oh, right. The whole reason I killed that dude. Where is it? There. Huh. Scarlet Rot's an old legend, which Malay Mirai of the Shaded Castle was a private believer, and indeed he eventually found his own personal goddess. Something else that I think is kind of note, but not necessarily, and not everything means something. But the Mirai robe is like, I mean, I know that it's like an official robe with like a black mantle over it, but it is, there are blue like flowing robes that they're traditionally worn by the House Mirai, and there is a blue dancer, a blind swordsman or whatever, blue fairy, it's hard to tell what's what, but like that is very much a person that is central to the Scarlet Rot narrative. And so, like I said, not everything means something, but it's interesting that they also have like their own special set of blue robes. Like, if they were just wearing normal officials' robes, I probably wouldn't even think anything of it. So this normally means that I have not been to... Oh, because I haven't been abducted. Okay. I will get myself stolen so that I can go through this dungeon. I don't remember how else to... I think there's other ways to get down there. There definitely are. Let's... Okay. Wait, I don't think that's where I wanted to go. It is. Okay, cool. Oops. Prison Town Church. That's actually something I hadn't really thought about before, especially with the volcano, or with the church being connected to the volcano manor. That means that Rykard would come and preach sermons to the criminals, which is fucked. I mean, I would love to see that, but I bet that was just awful. Just hearing him prattle on and on about, I'm sure it was some like racist, entitled tirade about Golden Order this, Albinorix that. I don't know. I'm filling in the gaps with my imagination, but I don't know. It's also interesting to think that maybe Rykard was... I mean, everyone says that he had good motives like at first, so it'd be really interesting to find out maybe like he actually, like, there's a positive reason for the Albinorix to be here, and then when he turned, he went from like becoming a safe haven. Like, maybe this was like the first safe haven for the Albinorix, and then Rykard was consumed by the serpent and went from like wanting to help them from wanting to use them for whatever reason. Because I think that there is a reason that he's inflicting suffering on them. I think that it fuels him somehow. Because I think madness the black dumpling thing that they put on their heads to just induce... It makes madness more powerful. So there's some like weird sort of connection that they're drawing to the idea of madness there. But I think that that is because okay, there is possibly some link between some of the magma sorceries. Whoa, that was awesome. And the frenzied flame sorceries. Not totally sure what those what that connection would be, because I mean, as far as we know, the only real way that they're connected to anything is, you know, death hexes or whatever. But that's, I think that would just drop me back down to where I started, right? Let's just back up and check real quick. Nope. Would not. Okay. Also not where I wanted to go, though. So maybe it would just be faster if I got abducted. Yeah, probably would. I'll come back. I'll be back. Alright. So now we take the very, very secret lift down. The secret lift is this giant wheel in the center of the entire facility. Which is also... Right. So I feel like this implies that there were I mean, there's literally, you know, all this glintstone down here. This kind of thing looks like something you would use for mining operations. It looks like they are very likely mining glintstone, right underneath. Gee. They're mining glintstone from right underneath themselves. Huh. I wonder if that's why Liurnia is sinking. I mean, it's not just necessarily because of the fact that the Scarlet Rot's underneath them. It's because there's a giant cavity underneath them where the Lake of Rot is, and they have been digging downwards for so long that it's possible that they've been like thinning the, basically making the amount of earth between the Lake of Rot and themselves so thin that it's becoming like unstable. It's basically, so you think Rhea Lucaria is a giant stump or nah? I still don't know what to think. I think it's... I mean, I feel like it's really plausible. But, like, I don't know. There's just not enough for me to, like, say anything conclusive, I guess. It just feels like a crazy theory right now. Until I have, like, something more than, like, you know, glintstone. In amber, and the fact that, you know, it looks like a trunk or whatever, but also, what's up, last protagonist? Happy weekend, long weekend. Okay, yeah, I need this guy to beat me up. We can find glintstone in mines that are presumably disconnected from wood or amber. Yeah, and I think a lot of those mines, I'm gonna need to go check out the glintstone mines, but I think at the end of, like, the smithing stone mines, well, I think usually the smithing stone mines also have... Anyway, I think that there are, like, meteorites at the end of, like, most of those mines, if not all of them, right? Like, I need to go double check on that. Oh, it's okay. This is what I wanted to do. I haven't been to this dungeon yet. I guess, you know, still F, because a little bit of trolling as a treat. Well, yeah, there's a little bit of stupid from me as a treat. You're welcome. Nom nom. Okay, yeah, I'll deal with these man-bats. They don't deserve the title of Batman. Batmen. Manish bats. Okay, whatever. Oh, right, so... About, like, Lies of Pinocchio. It was pretty fun, but I feel like something about it just, like, couldn't hold my attention. Like, it didn't... It just wasn't... It didn't... I think the lore wasn't, like, captivating enough, or it wasn't, like... I don't know. I really can't tell you why I dropped it, but it was, like, relatively fun. I guess the mechanics were a little simple too. Not in, like, necessarily a bad way, I just felt like there wasn't a whole lot of room for, like... For mostly good things, kind of turned off from early trailers because of the lack of hits done in them. So, I mean, yeah, I enjoyed myself. I thought it was, like, a good game or whatever. I just couldn't get myself to, like, finish it. I don't know if I just kind of got, like, burned out on it or what, but, like... I mean, I would recommend that you, like, play it if you're, like... you know, if you're looking for, like, a good game to play. I just, it's not... I'm picky with some of that stuff. Thought it was a good game or whatever. Yeah, I mean... What, like... I feel like that's actually pretty accurate. I would say that's pretty accurate representation of my feelings on the game. Like, it was good. Shrug. I just, it kind of felt like it wasn't going anywhere for, like, a while, I guess. Like, I think at a certain point, I just kind of felt like I was, like, going through a bunch of dungeons and, like, just, like, fighting a big puppet at the end, and it was, like... You know, I'm normally pretty good at picking up, like, context lore and stuff, but it's still kind of, like, it just feels like I'm beating up puppets. Like, I'm sure that there are reasons, but... I very much felt... You know, I felt like it was pretty clear that, like, you know, especially since I'm a puppet or whatever, that I was being puppeted, like, manipulated in some way. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but... You know, it just meant that when there was a betrayal, I wasn't like... It's just typically not the phrasing people use for good games. Yeah, I mean, well, I guess I'm, like, picky about that stuff. I know I just said that a second ago, but I guess there aren't a whole lot of games that I would, like, really give, like, too, like an enthusiastic, like, whatever, recommendation for. Like, I did enjoy Lies of P, it's not something I would be like, oh, you've gotta play this game. It was awesome! Yep, it was pretty good. Had fun. If I'm ever enthusiastic about a game, it's because I've spent too much time on it. Or I'm going to. Like I've been getting sucked into Genshin recently, so yeah, that already, you know, that's a new hell. Oh god. Eh. What? I know that Genshin isn't like, you know, I'm not saying like, oh, it's better than Lies of P, but Genshin's like, that's definitely not what I'm saying. Um, you know, it's just kind of a different way. It's a different kind of game for sure. Genshin is just kind of like, it's a cool way to pass time. It's nice and, you know, grindy games can be fun. If I feel like grinding, I go to that game. Also, you know, I've played some, what was it? Kingdom Hearts, the K-Hux. I'm not like, I don't spend money on gacha games or whatever, but pulls are fun. It's like playing card games. Like a booster pack is just a pull from a mystery box. I hate to break it to you. The boosters are loot boxes. In function. Not saying that card games are gacha games, but there's similarities. Oh, I knew. That's why I am proxy. Or by singletons. Wait, what are singletons? I'm not familiar with, and also, yeah, I'm not familiar with the. Let's all pretend like I know what proxy means, but I mean, you know, we know that I know what proxy means. Let's say it for the, you know, the audience, just because there might be some confused people out there. Not me. Singular cards for a deck build. Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, and that makes sense too, because it's like, if you are trying to be like competitive or whatever, you're probably not gonna want to waste money on like maybe getting cards. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like I feel like there are things you could make comparisons between games like you got group buddies and you're like, hey guys, would it be cool if I play tested a deck idea before I buy the real cards, and they say, yeah, we cool. That's cool. I've been meaning to get in. There's some really cool card places nearby, so like honestly, I should maybe like go to some tournaments or something. But sorry, I was just thinking. Every time I think about trading cards, I'm just like, ooh. I feel like there's something about like the human brain and just like cards. Like brain want little paper rectangle. I want a bunch of them too, in a big old stack. These ones tell the future. These ones are just for fun. Bleh. Oh yeah, but I feel like there are like similarities between like, you know, Far Cry even and like Genshin, like gameplay wise. You know, Far Cry doesn't have like loot boxes or whatever, but just the way that you kind of generally go around the world and just kind of do stuff on the map. I mean, I guess that's a super, super general way of, like, putting any game, like, but, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I kind of get why people wouldn't like Genshin, but, these rectangles are my only source of food. Ooh. Oh god, that was... I guess money kind of is cards. Money is cards. That sounded like the dumbest thing. And also cards is money. Credit cards. Duh. You probably meant credit cards, but explain how money is like cards. No. I can't do it in a way that sounds good or intelligent or true. So, source, just trust me, bro. Money can be exchanged for goods and services. Cards can also be exchanged for goods and services. I know some people who would do some crazy stuff for, oh god, I don't, whatever that Lotus card is, the Black Lotus. That joke would have been a little bit funnier if I'd actually known what the hell I was talking about. I was doing a Simpsons bit. Well then, might I say, dough? I feel like every joke is just going right over my head today. Which is super unusual for me, because normally I'm just like, locked in. Okay, let's continue going through the Lake of Rat. Okay, so, also, something I want to do, just want to take a second to look at this, because I always like to look at this, because it's cool. What the hell is... Oh, right, so these are the same images that we can see on the obelisks all over the place underground. There might be some differences, but... yeah. So if someone previously was saying that this looked like ships to them, I thought it could have possibly looked like dragons. It is super, super obscure and squiggly and whooshy, so it could honestly be anything. What are you locked in? Your house? My brain. Locked into my brain, and I can't get out. Let me out! Let me out! This is not a dance! I'm screaming for help! I'm begging for help! This is not a dance! You know, just a cool new dance. Alright, and whack. Unga. Whoops. Couldn't tell the difference between the live one and the dead one. Oh, I meant to be healing while I was spinning. That just made me look dumb. It's like I was spinning around for no reason. Yeah, I should have done another dodge. You got me, bro. Arms. So, I don't know if you heard me say this like a little bit ago. Last protagonist doing some speculation, but I've speculated that maybe there were like alabaster lords that wore those like mushroom vestments, garments, whatever, and they broke them down, and maybe that is how things that were not made of stone could have been born from alabaster lords, maybe? Like, maybe, just like, for example, maybe like the night folk or whatever, the nightkin, the people that bled silver, like just as an example, like they could have been born from the scarlet rot because of alabaster lords that got broken down or whatever, like, you know, just sort of like an idea. Not saying it's like even you know, I don't even really have much to go on there other than just the fact that there are lords mentioned in the crown, and then there's like lord, like an alabaster lord down here inexplicably for some reason. Like, I just thought it was weird that they mentioned lords, and then there happens to be an alabaster lord in like the place that you'd least expect them. Youch. I forgot how much those can move to lock on. Too slow. Ooh. Thank God. Okay. None of those dudes noticed. Oh God. Okay, 2 more. It's hard to tell. Alabaster Lords bleed silver or gray-white. You know, I mean, I guess that's true. But they do seem to have, like, silver, like, ironically, veins of silver running through their bodies. They're like stone bodies or whatever, in a way that's comparable to, in a way, to the ancient dragons and like their gold. If my whole theory about them being alive is true, then I'm thinking the alabaster lords and onyx lords could be alive in the same way, just like a silver source of life, animating bodies instead of gold. But I think it could be, they could both be like meteoric ore, you know, that could be the blue-white meteoric ore, the blue-silver that the Albinorics are made of. Because I think that there's definitely a connection between the Albinorics and, like, the Night Folk and possibly, like, the Alabaster or Onyx Lords or something. Like, I just feel like there's some silver lineage that is, like, comparable in a way to the golden lineage. Because also, like, you know... Well, wait, do the... I forget. Dragons bleed, right? It's ancient dragons? Do ancient dragons bleed? They do, right? Yes. Okay. And that's red, right? I'm pretty sure it's just like normal red blood. Hmm. Correct. Okay. That's interesting. I mean, yeah, then I guess... I don't know. I like to think that they are probably bleeding silver. I thought that there was a... Oh, it's only after I beat him? Also, I have been... Especially since, you know, if the ancient dragons are some stone people that are some stone creatures that are bleeding. God. Whoops. Then I feel like it's very possible that the Onyx and Alabaster Lords would also be bleeding. But I guess that wasn't what you said. You just said it's arguable that it's not silver, that it's white or gray, I think. See, it is tricky there because it's like at some point like silver kind of is white or gray. It's like a luster thing, I think, right? Just like how metallic it is. I forgot, are there other kinds of like... Are there any like clear blood? Well, there's just silver in the red. Was wondering if there was some kind of like not blood that bloodless things have. I know that some of them have like a fluid that they like sometimes it... Why? I thought I was healing. Okay. Well, that one was just for funsies. Some weapon also might not do. Might need something like longer. We'll see. I guess it is relatively long. So let's get rid of that, because I don't really feel like it's doing anything right now. Aerial jump attacks? Do I have jump attacks? No. Let's do faith. I've also lately become really, really suspicious of like similarities between Estelle and like ants. I have no idea what it means. And I'm not even like, you know, I'm not implying that like Estelle gave birth to the ants or Estelle is an ant, but like they have mandibles that are really similar. They have like, you know, he has 3 sets of arms. And like he's got like a stinger, sort of. Like, I mean, it's not perfect, but like the similarities are weird just by themselves, especially since like when I saw him the other day, Estelle, or one of the colorless versions of him anyway, something I said was like, okay, well, he doesn't necessarily look like an... one of the only things that has those kinds of pincers in real life is, and then I think I said antlion, which is just an interesting sort of term to think of in general in context of this game, to think of how they could have used antlion, if they did. Wait a second. How... I need to go look at the Revenant Worshippers after this. How many arms do they have? They also have 3 pairs of arms? Like, I wonder if the Revenant Worshippers are trying to make themselves like Estelle in some way. Or if Estelle... Or if the Revenants have... something. Revenants have a lot more arms than... I don't remember how many Revenants have. They've got a lot more. Oh, I meant the Worshippers themselves, but, yeah, I guess Revenants have a lot more than just those arms. Okay, good to know, though. I guess I wasn't sure on that one. You meant Revenants, not the Rock Boys. So I meant, the ones that, like, sometimes ring bells, that have the, that ride the horses around and stuff. Like, sometimes they have extra arms. Because I'm pretty sure the bell that they ring calls them Revenant Worshippers. Or the item description of that item. Just to, I guess, make sure I'm counting correctly. Is it, it is 3... Oh, wait. Is it 4 sets of arms? One, two, hold on, it's kind of hard to tell with this, like, weird... It's like all... There we go. No, it's 6. Gotcha, okay. It's weird for a second. Oh, and, you know, there are ants that have wings that can fly, so... It's another little connection there between... I mean, I've also kind of said that he reminds me a lot of, like, dragonflies, because I think dragonflies also have pretty big mandibles, but it's just... There aren't... The fact that there are so many of these guys underground by the ants gives me pause. Because we know that he was born in the stars, so it's not like Estelle... Or in the lightless void far away, so it's not... We definitely know that Estelle, you know, couldn't have come from ants or anything. So, if there's any connection between ants and Estelle, it's... If we're talking, you know, chicken and the egg here, Estelle came first, for sure. Okay, for real? Kind of thought I was safe there. Oh god. Oh! Almost got you here. And I guess in a... Okay, so if Flintstones... You know, they could have some... They very likely have something to... It seems possible that they have something to do with souls. I mean, we know that they can contain souls. So I've got to wonder if, like, Estelle is like a soul cluster? Is he also maybe like considered a star? A cluster of star debris is what it's called, right? But there we go. All right. GG. Thank you. Thank you. Estelle is... Stars of Darkness is quite a bit harder. But, yeah, it's nice to know that I can still give Estelle a good fight. Some of these bosses are humbling. Falling Star of Ill Omen. Malformed star born in the lightless void far away. So he's not a cluster of stars, like I said before. He's a star. Formed incorrectly. I wonder if a star is a collection of souls, because, you know, it looks like that's kind of possibly what the Elden Beast was. And it's possible that Estelle just, you know, was... Something didn't happen correctly when all the souls came together. Or whatever the hell his, like, deal is. Okay, so let's get some more... A little bit more strength. Also, some dexterity, just because I want to be able to use, well, okay, a little bit more dexterity, because I want to be able to use the queen weapon, the Godslayer's Greatsword. Aryan Seal on this barrier. Gotta need the ring. I need to go to the tower. Right? Do I have the statue? Yes. Okay, I need to go through the tower. Hmm. I always forget about some of those portraits, because, you know, you find them on, like, your first playthrough. And I know I must have found it again recently. But still. It's one of the things I'm not as familiar with, just because I haven't had to do it a bunch of times. Let's try to down there. So this actually might be a closer. Because also, well, I don't know. Too many brains running through my thoughts. Oh, I can wield this one-handed now. Huzzah. Alright. So, yeah, I want to check out some more mines, or maybe some of the mines I've already been through earlier, because I'm just becoming kind of more and more convinced that like, I found some markings recently around what I'm pretty sure is a meteorite, and it was the same markings that are on the Divine Towers and the Giant's Forge, all of which I think are very closely connected. Like, I'm pretty sure, I mean, all over the Divine Tower you can see little sort of like stone things that look basically exactly like the meteorites, surrounded in sort of like a similar way as the ones I'm referring to that are at the end of certain dungeons. So they seem to have some reverence for meteorites. But then, like, yeah, the way that it's arranged in like a circle around this meteorite thing, and, you know, they have the forge. It just makes me think that they very likely, like, they were forging, they were smithing with meteoric metals, I think. But what they were making, or why even, and how it was divine is beyond me. But I do think that, I mean, you know, it could have something to do with like the Crucible of Life. Like, I've said that before, especially if you think about how there are, you know, the Onyx and Alabaster Lords, Fallen Star Beasts. They're all things that came to life from meteorites. So, you know, it's sort of implied that meteorites could be like sources of life in a way. It's been my guess, you know, I don't want to say it's like even like a theory or opinion, because it's like there's really nothing to support this. It's just sort of like what I think is, it's my favorite guess. But I think it's possible that they were like forging living beings. They were creating living things out of meteoric metal. and I think that's why the Divine Towers were divine. We already know that gold is considered like something like a source of life, or it can be certain kinds of gold anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it makes sense. What is he even shooting at? Cool. Now that that's dealt with. Ooh, okay. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. There we go. This whole thing is... I'm still not sure... Is this like a different place that looks like the Carian Tower that's upside, but it's upside down? Or is it like... I really don't understand how the hell like this place is. It does make me think that this has some... This could be how... Oh! Okay, so there are all these Nox buildings that just kind of like hang upside down off the ceilings underground. This could totally be an explanation for like why the hell that is. Like if you have the ability to make your entire interior be upside down, then yeah, of course, just build your buildings upside down off the ceiling. Why not? And then just flip it, I guess? Like, I think that this is Nox technology in the Carian Tower here. I think that this is how their buildings might work. Like, it feels like a different place? Unless it is, like, just the same area flipped upside down? I don't know. It's hard to tell how much of this is just, like, video gamey stuff, too. Like, also, how the hell does this work? Just, like, open the doors and then everything just goes, like, zoop. Oh, everything's just flipped up right on the other side? Okay, well that makes sense. The door isn't, whatever. Okay, let's go fight this, dude. This dude. Should be right around here, right? There he is. Where's the music? Where the hell's the music? This is weird. Is there not music for this fight? I thought there's always music when Godskins fight. Did I press a button to like mute the music? On accident? I don't know, it just feels weird to fight them in like silence. Also not like combat music playing. Again though, maybe this is just how it is. I have to wonder, now more than ever, when I see them do the ground pound thing. Why is that not working? If these things have anything to do with, or if the gods that they stole their powers from could have had maybe anything to do with the Erd Tree avatars, because his ground pound and like the shockwave it gives off just reminds me so much of like their signature Golden Land sort of like ability. What is it called? Golden, I think it's called Golden Land. Golden Slam is one of them. Skill of the avatars to protect minor Erd trees. Yeah, so I've just got to wonder, I guess. Because, like, also, you know, the explosion sort of thing, the shockwave that comes off at the end, pretty similar in a lot of ways to this, I don't think I have it. This golden something. God, that just described the whole game, though. It's the one about the Erd trees, like, rage. Wrath of Gold. No, there it is. Wrath of Gold. So I think that this has something to do with Noble Presence, because, you know, it says, Beard is a sign of the Erd tree's wrath. And then, of course I don't have it. Noble Presence was, I think it represented, like, the wrath of the gods or something is what it said. And it's basically Wrath of Gold Wrath, or whatever the hell that's called. Right, like, immediately. Wrath of Gold. Wait, how am I not... I should be allowed in here. Why? Oh, I'm dumb. Okay. Wrong door. The other tower. Okay. And there are, like, some symbols on the outside of the tower that make me think, like... I don't know. It looks vaguely like some sort of weird mixture of lifiness, but who knows? It's just sort of like animal parts or something. I think that there is imagery on here that could support the idea that these things are like crucibles of life, but I definitely wouldn't say that it's like, you know, there's a strong chance or anything. Actually, let's look at some of this. Completely degraded, no way I can read that, but, yeah, this is what I was talking about, though. This, like, oh yeah, that's even the symbols I was talking about. So yeah, this is surrounded in the exact same way by the exact same symbols as what I assume are meteorites. At, like, for instance, the one right before, you fight, like, an Onyx Lord, right before, I think, Rykard's Tower. Yeah, Rykard's Tower. At the end of that dungeon, and many others like it, there's something that looks exactly like this in the ground, and there's a stone thing around it that has those exact symbols on it. So, yeah, definitely 100% connected. The Divine Towers and those mines are, in my mind, 100% connected. I'm gonna go take a look at it like right after this. Right after this. Just as soon as I'm done here. Alright. Finally at the top here. This room is always just kind of cool to me because it's like, what in the world? Like, it's so big and it feels like I don't know what any of these weird squiggles mean. The whole building just looks like squiggles. Milady. Okay, yeah, and I want to say that those sort of swirl things on the side are all over the Giant's Forge as well. These like S symbols are what I was talking about. But this is just kind of weird because I was just wondering what these like sort of staff things on the top and the bottom were. Oh, is that like a little imp or something maybe? Like a little winged dude with like something stacked on top of him? I have no idea. That looks like that looks a little bit like a symmetrical version of the sword that Radagon becomes. Like if that sword was symmetric and or if the hilt was. And conceivably this was... Oh yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about actually. So it looks exactly like this, but there's a meteorite in the middle. So let's go check it out. That's fine. I don't need to get on the horse. First, yeah, I want to look at the exterior a little bit. Okay. And yeah, pretty much identical in every single way, actually. Like, in terms of like what is here. I mean, there's some things that were at the top of the tower that aren't here because it's like been cut off at the edges, but I'm pretty sure there was, you know, Ronnie was right here. This symbol, this ring was there, then this ring of symbols, and then this ring of symbols. Like that's pretty much what the entire Divine Tower looks like. All on the outside. And there's that swirl S kind of shape thing again that I'm pretty sure is actually all around. If you look around the sides of the forge, I'm pretty sure that that's something like that is there. Might not. That might not be actually, because it doesn't look like as S shaped as I was thinking. These symbols though that I'm walking on are around the forge. I don't know about these. And that's part of why I think that the forge was used for meteoric metal. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a meteorite. They were all over the Divine Tower. Things that looked like this, but smaller. And they were... Yeah. I feel like that kind of speaks for itself a little bit. Oh yeah, I guess right here, you can kind of just see the direct comparison. Now I just need to get back up to the forge, or if I could just find anywhere else that those symbols are used, That'll be dope. Okay, let's enter Lindell. So we can start making our way to the forge a little at least. Really want to see that Giant's Forge. All right. So I think that these could be the graves of gods or something like that, just because their bones are gold. I genuinely like that's very, very weak. It's just sort of like a guess. I think that their graves, the stones might kind of be meant to look like. We know that there's like different stages of like, you know, the golden runes, and once you get to a certain point, a little black dot starts forming in the middle, and at that point it is like very, very, it's a very powerful rune. So that little dot only appears if you jeez. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because it's a giant dude. Thank God. Jeez, yeah, sorry. Trying to regain my train of thought. Oh, so part of the only other thing I really had to go on there was, the fact that the, Ensha, I'm pretty sure Ensha might have been a god. He was known as, what, the Lord of the Desperate or something like that? Oh, that's right, the runes. So I don't even have any runes that have, like, black in the middle. I think that if there's any black in the middle, like, I don't know what that necessarily represents. I don't know if it means that you're strong enough to have, like, an inner darkness, or if it's, like, to support a darkness within, without being corrupted by it or something like that, or if it's supposed to be, like, a metaphor for being able to see kind of clearly for yourself, being strong enough to see, because that's supposed to be, like, what, in your eyes? So if at some point all of a sudden, like, it's a gold disc, I feel like, you know, it'd be understandable if you couldn't see clearly, per se. But then, you know, you gain metaphorical pupils, and now you can see once you're strong enough. That could be what those graves are trying to sort of represent, with the holes in the middle. Like, the graves could be a representation of, like, that fact that they were able to achieve that level of power. Like, maybe that was something that, like, indicated you were divine or whatever. I don't know, but I think it is possibly why they have gold-covered bones, like Ensha. Okie dokie. Alrighty, Roo. Let's do it. Also, actually, let's just check out... Also, something I've just now realized for the first time. Some of the similarities between Draconic Knights and... what's her name? The alleged Albinoric Loretta. Just like the way that they, like, never get off their horse and almost seem to be, like, part of it. Because, I mean, the horse can breathe fire. it's one thing if it's like, okay, this guy has been consuming dragons, so obviously he's gonna have like some draconic abilities. But like, why would the horse have dragon powers unless the horse, like, I don't really feel like he's just like, you know, slipping dragon into the horse's feed or something like that. Like, that kind of feels like a silly explanation. I feel like there's some deeper connection between them, and it's also why they don't have 2 health bars. And I think that it's probably the same thing that was going on with Radon and Leonard. Same rigging, just like how Erd Tree avatars are totally different from the Asylum Demon. Wait, what do you mean? Like, oh, you're just saying that they're like rigged the same way, like animation-wise? Because I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, we don't really. I think there could be, even if she. I'm not saying she was necessarily like a draconic knight, but just sort of like. There does seem to be this possibility that there are these people that like can't walk, that use like mounts. Like, it might not even be like for the same reason, but like I've got to wonder, I guess, like if draconic knights can they get off their horses and walk? Like, do we fight any draconic knights that are not mounted? Now that I think about it, kind of just makes me wonder. Same with tree sentinels. And that's weird. Like, I think that's really weird that there's not like any of them that are just not on horses, and that they're inseparable from their horses, when there are a handful of units in the game that have horses that can disappear. And then, like, you know, it would have been really easy for them to do something similar to that with like Knights Cavalry, just like have them be one and the same with their horse. But no, you can kill their horse and then they summon a new one. So I don't know, I feel like there's possibly a like it might have been intentional to have them have like shared health bars. There might be like a lore reason. Maybe not though, you know. Could just be the same rigging, and that they don't want to do like extra work and like rig up models for those characters that are walking around for no reason. But you know, food for thought. May have just not wanted to have people capitalize on dismount attacks and crits. Totally. I could see that. And yeah, I mean, honestly, that could really be it. Could just be like, yeah, we wanted this to be a stronger mounted enemy, so they can't be knocked off their horse. Same as, like, you know, how it would be, like, really, really hard to knock you off the horse if your dexterity was crazy high or something. Yeah. I forget why they have that, like, weird... It's just commoner's clothing. Does it say anything about, like, why it has that, like, crazy weird pattern on the front? Or on the back? Fake embroidered cape. Just talks about how the board... Yeah, it just talks about the board. Okay, so this whole place is obviously decorated really, really similarly to how Stormvale was. Like, so I guess that tells us that, I mean, I guess I've always, like, thought some of this stuff but never really said it out loud. That tells us that all of those design elements are probably from Or brought from Lindell, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, probably. It's just so hard to know, like, did Godfrey have to take Stormvale? Did he own Stormvale already? Whoops. Not mean to do that. God, I forgot how cool he looks. Also, something kind of interesting that I thought of recently. I feel like it's very, very, very possible that that big-ass weapon was made by giants, because the entire game I've been asking myself, okay, if they are literal giants, and their whole thing is, like, forging, gonna deal with the dogs, peace and good luck. Yeah, see you later. If their whole thing is forging, where are all the giant weapons? There are giant bodies everywhere. There are giant forges, at least one, probably more, all over. Where are the giant weapons? Where are the giant metal items? Because even golems, large things they're made of stone. That is the only large metal, I'll use the word giant, metal weapon or item that I can really think of in the game. So, could have been made in other ways. But, and the really interesting thing is that it's shaped just like the spear that Placidusax, Placidusax can create a spear of pure lightning, red lightning, that looks exactly like that. If my theory about primordial gold being red lightning, because it's implied that gold is imbued with lightning. Sorry, lightning is imbued with gold. So red lightning is probably imbued with red gold. I've almost got to wonder if the giants, or if the dragons, found some way of like solidifying their, like turning this like spear made of lightning into a solid item somehow. Like if the giants were somehow able to like take this thing made of lightning from the giants, or again, maybe the dragons were able to do it, or maybe the dragons were able to do it themselves. But I think it would be cool if the giants were somehow able to like solidify this lightning construct, or forge it somehow, like from their primordial metal. Because I'm pretty sure the smaller version of that says they carved it from a piece of it or something like that, and it's primordial gold, I think. Pretty sure, anyway. I'll have to double check on that once I actually find it again. Cool. Is there any way I can, like... Yeah. Stealth mode. Stealth. Stealth bunga. Alright. Now where the hell am I? Oh cool, I can just, I'm gonna get attacked here, but I'm also gonna just run straight for the door. Safety. Oh, that's right, because I didn't rest
My
at the other
utmost
side of
thanks
Grace,
for bringing me to the base
which is where she
of
would
the
normally
Erd
have
Tree. Here,
said
I
bye-bye.
can govern my own movement, and thus, the accord is fulfilled. I shall depart to farewell. I shall leave Torrent, and the power to turn runes into strength here with you. I wish you luck
I'm gonna wonder if she
in
can take that
realizing your
back.
ambition. You
Because the
have
fact that
fought
she
long
didn't take
and
either of those
hard.
things back from
I have
us
no doubt you will
uh,
become Elden
after,
Lord.
if we decide to take
May
on
you take
the
the
Frenzied
throne.
Flame. And she always acts like she's doing us like a solid, or just deciding to be nice and generous and give it, like, let us keep that power. And, you know, maybe video game reasons, whatever, blah blah blah. But, like, I've got to wonder if she can take it back, especially since, you know, when she takes the ring back at the end of the Frenzied Flame ending, it seems to give her some kind of power. So you'd think that she would want that ring back if the ring is in some way connected to that. She doesn't start to, like, change her appearance until she puts the ring on. Or, sorry, she doesn't put the ring on. It melts into her hand. So, yeah, probably a factor in that. Little dickbags playing the little horn. There's an enemy. Okay. Nope, not what I wanted. Shoot. Okay, well, that's fine. There's another way you can do that. Do some quick maths. So kind of, I might be able to kind of, like, shimmy my way up there. Okay. So maybe let's also, okay, I've got that equipped still. Let's just go straight for it here. I wonder if that's it down there. This is definitely going to cause problems for me at some point, but I'm willing to put off those consequences until later. Oh, well, I feel like that's about to happen now. This is going to be problematic. These, by the way, if you guys have never noticed, are gargoyles that have been destroyed. What's going to happen here? Also, something worth mentioning, they, really, that didn't hit him? Are you for real? Okay. So these things are gargoyles that have not been repaired, and they have, like, this weird sort of shared face. Like, they share the eye in the middle, but they each have, like, sort of, and I think that that's sort of it's comparable, or some kind of metaphor that is similar to the D twins, Marika and Radagon, the way that they are two people that are one, because they're not really, like, they kind of are two separate people, but, like, they are treated as being one identity at the same time. So it seems like there is some sort of, like, lack of individuality present there on some level. And yeah, they seem to be. It's not really. I'm not really sure what they are or what they're made of. It looks like they could be living beings made of stone. So they could be from outer space, but they could also just be constructs. Like golems. I mean, they probably don't react to crystal darts. I mean, I'm pretty sure people have tested all this stuff before, and we know it doesn't work. But might as well just sort of make sure the crystal dart doesn't make them frenzy or anything. Yeah, no. Something I will say, though, it does look like the way that they are shooting fire, it really reminds me of the spark mist. The way that they send out particles that then explode. The spark perfume, or whatever the hell it's called. It feels like mechanically they work in similar ways. So let's see, maybe I can... Oh, there it is. I'm gonna have to... Ay, ay, ay. Up there? How do I get up there? Oh, that's much later on. I'm gonna have to get all the way up to the... I'm gonna have to get all the way up to, like, that upper level. Basically... right where, that, like, audience chamber that you fight Gideon is. I might have to get, like, up to that area before I can... Right now I'm just getting my runes back. Ouch. Cool if there was some other way to jump over there, but there's just, like, definitely not. Oh, whoops. Survived. That's, unexpected. Whoopsie. That was lucky. Really could have been any distance, that fall. Oh, I think that this is bringing me closer to... Yeah, the church. There's a site of grace here. I forgot, do these guys breathe fire too? How does that work? Is it like straight up just fire? Or do they... Yeah. Huh. Like they don't like have like a throat pouch that inflates, and they don't send out particles first, like the spark mist, or whatever the hell it's called. Interesting. All like burned. Is that just how this like model is, or are all of like the dead bodies usually like burned? Not necessarily, I guess. I don't know. I wonder though, why is he like here and dead? Like I don't think his armor gives us like any insight there. When he met Fia, he declared himself to be her father. Pretty sure that's just what they all say. All of the... Yeah. So... I don't know, the only idea I can come up with is that he allowed himself to be burned with, like, Ghost Flame or something like that, but there's nothing to support that she has the use of Ghost Flame or that anything like that happened, other than the fact that she uses death sorceries, sort of. She is, like, related to them. It's possible that he died from death blight, or something like that, because of the way that he became Fia's... Well, no, because we become one of Fia's champions if we just, like, embrace her. Just for anyone that doesn't know, that's how that works. Every time you embrace Fia, it updates, basically, your... like, it takes a snapshot of your character, and that is what other people will fight as one of the random things that spawn. Geez, sorry. I don't know why that guy just totally threw me off. I feel like you guys get the idea, though. I don't remember what the hell I was saying. But I feel like that idea was complete. Ouch. This open? Yeah. Stone sword key? Alright. Interesting that we felt the need to lock this up. But that's okay. What is up here? Oh my god, it's the shortcut. I think? It's a shortcut. Oh. Wow. Okay, I don't think I, like, ever unlock that. That is a really awesome... I've, like, wondered about that door in the past. Cool. Well, 1,000 hours I'm still learning things, like what doors go where, and how a shortcut works. Okay, that was that all that was? That should have been another hint that there was, like, something else to do in this room. Nothing but that key. I want to say that I don't remember what's here. There's a really good, like, bow around here on one of the roofs. The black bow, I think. I don't remember if there's more to the name. Like Black Bow of Pharos or something like that, but that might be a Dark Souls term. Feels like it might be. I think it's over here. Just need to do some jumpity jumps. Yeah. Yep, it's Black Bow. I think that's one of the best bows in the game. I think someone else told me that. So, don't blame me if that's wrong. Or it might just be like what the item description says, honestly. I think it says something kind of like that. One of the most difficult bows to master, so that might just be why I think that. Okay, and then this should bring me to where there's a Crucible Knight, like right across from me. And yeah, okay. I don't know if that was not a shortcut, that was just another way to go. Alright, it is 8 o'clock. I've done a lot of thinking and a lot of looking. And now I'm gonna do a bunch of thinking by myself. Anyway, hope you guys have a nice long weekend. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.